Hello crafty friends. Hello Flosstube. It is Friday, March 20th. How are we doing today? Hanging in there? I suspect that's going to be my greeting for the next little while because I'm just as curious about how you guys are doing as you are with checking in with me. So I hope you're well. All right, crafty chat for today. I accomplished a fair bit last night in what I set out to do, and we were able to sit together as a family, and we watched a few more episodes of Frasier, and John and I finished a documentary on Netflix. What's it called again? The Pharmacist? That was eye-opening. Anyways, distracting for the evening, so that was the goal. And I worked on 3 different things last night. I did not work on my striped sock at all. Luna's just making herself comfortable over here. Did you hear that? Big dog sigh. So I worked on my father-in-law's sock. I really would like to. I find that this is the stage where I always sort of, things get put on hold because doing the heel, I need to get over that it's not such a big deal, because it's really not. I know how to do heels on socks. I just have to get on and do the different stages. So I have a few socks that I started that are kind of, you know, they're in limbo because I just haven't gotten around to doing the heel, and I thought, okay, just get started on the heel and you'll be glad you did. And I am, because look, I'm at least a third of the way through the slip stitch heel flap. So that's pretty good. So you can see from the back, that's where the front of the sock is being held on the circular needle, and then I'm knitting that heel flap back and forth with 2 DPNs. So, hooray! Maybe I'll even have the heel flap done by tomorrow. Tomorrow's check-in. We shall see. While we were watching television last night, I had my Plum Street Samplers, Miss Bingley's Library. It was already on my Lowry frame, and so I decided just to keep on with that, and I left my canvas for later when the TV was off so that I could concentrate. So Miss Bingley's Library. I'm still really enjoying this, so I suspect you're going to be seeing it for the next few days at the very least. And here's where I got to. Bit boring stitching last night, but perfect for television watching. So I got a decent start on the house. And then I really wanted to start the shutters on the house because I love that color of blue. And then I was looking through my project bag where my floss was, and I realized I didn't have the skein of floss. This calls for Crescent Colors Dublin Bay, and I didn't have it. It's a Classic Colorworks now. You know what? I should know that. I always get it mixed up. I either call it by the new name or I call it by the old name. So it's the CC overdyed thread, overdyed cotton, which is Dublin Bay. Is that beautiful? Whoops, giving away what I've done instead. So that's that blue shade that's in the shutters and Miss Bingley's dress and a few of the books. So I don't have it, and I'm not going to, you know, not stitch, because if there's one thing I have in this house, it's stash. So I went stash diving last night, and I chose out a few blues that I had, and I surprisingly had 4 or 5 skeins of Weeks Dye Work blue jeans. And so I think this is going to work really well. So that's going to be the blue that I switch out. So make do, right? That's what I have. So I'm I know my local needlework shop is still offering, I don't know if they're still offering curbside pickup, but I do know that they have just recently offered a discount on their shipping to help out. So that's Stitch It Central here in London, Ontario, in case you're looking for a few supplies to be sent to you and you're local or Canadian. So yeah, blue jeans, Weeks Dye Works. And I think it's gonna work really well. And I really enjoyed, you know, just going back and forth with a white color that is whitewash, Weeks Dye Work whitewash. And the door is Pelican Gray. That's right, Pelican Gray. Could you see it? Because it's, what I've done is so small. So that's Pelican Gray whitewash. And the brown is Swamp Water. Terrible name for a really nice brown. Or hilarious name, whichever you choose. So Swamp Water. Yeah, and blue jeans, I'm gonna add that in. So I think I might start the shutters tonight. Because once you start putting windows in your house, you feel like you're really building a house. And that's all I have to share with that one. So then I got on to my canvas work last night, and I was really excited about this. This was really fun. So the very first thing that I did was I went entirely through the pattern again. I double read, so I read through twice, every single sheet that I had in this pattern, because it's a big one. And I double checked all of my supplies, and I have everything. I'm not missing anything. So everything is going to stay safely tucked into my bag. Sorry, if you didn't catch yesterday, these are the Karen watercolors that, I'll show you what they belong to. It's this pattern, it's called Seasons. It's a counted canvas work piece by Amy Bear Needlepoints. And so I have everything. I think I remembered the 2 or 3 that I was missing at the end. I had special ordered them in from Thread and I before they closed, and she was actually able to manage to get them for me right before they retired. So, you know, when you start thinking back and you start going over, sometimes you remember these things, and then I did actually remember that. So I read through everything again. It's not a small pattern, and there's lots of detailed instructions. And actually, in fact, and I can show you this because it's not giving anything away. There are four full pages of written instructions to go along. So each step is laid out for you, step by step by step. And it's really well done. The pattern is really well done. So for example, the next thing that I'm about to do, so step number 4 is using 080 Blue Lagoon, and pattern guide number 3, work the woven stitch indicated by the orange chart lines. This is a little tricky, so take care in reading the chart. It's just little things like that that makes you feel, it gives you some confidence in the way that the pattern was written and tested and checked for giving you the best possible chance of success in achieving what you see on the cover photo. So I read through everything, refamiliarized myself, made sure that I had everything supplies wise. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I did, but I took a little bit of a video where I did a close-up of the stitching, because I don't think you'll be able to see it really well up here. So it's still a small little bit in the middle. However, what I was able to accomplish last night was this little fill-in here, which was called, what was that called? Oh, it's right here somewhere. Mosaic stitch. So when you see the close-up, just keep that in mind because I didn't do any talking in it. There are these 4 points of the star, and then filling in the gap in between each of those 4 points is something called mosaic stitch. So I finished off the last little fill in of mosaic stitch, and then I broke open a brand new skein of watercolors this is the color Santa Fe, and this square motif happens on all 4 sides. So I finished the first full one here. This one is half complete, and then tonight I hope to finish the other 2 there. And then I'm on to step number 4, which is tricky, so I better be careful. So. Yeah, so I'm you know, falling in love with it all over again, and I never fell out of love with it, so it's kind of nice. I had been speaking about the Karen watercolors in yesterday's video, and when I had mentioned that I wasn't sure if I was going to need any more, where I would get it from, because at this moment I'm not sure Stitch It Central sells it. It's a 3-ply cotton. And so what you do is when you open the skein and you pull off a section of it, you have to separate the section into 3. So just like you would separate a length of DMC into 6, this is into 3. And it's a lovely, lovely cotton. Pima cotton, I think. I used to know this. Yeah, 3-ply Pima cotton. It's 10 yards, 9 meters. It's lovely, lovely stuff. You have to make sure you don't use really long lengths of it because it can fray. Not fray, but it fluffs up when it's been passed through these holes too many times, you know? So it's not easy to frog it and restitch it because it does affect the look of it. It'll become a little bit fuzzy, a little bit cloudy, as it were. So I tend to cut my lengths no longer than 18 inches to stitch with, and just try to keep it as neat and tidy as possible. It was because of doing counted canvas work that I learned how to do the Bargello tuck originally, years and years and years ago, which is now how I start and stop all of my thread when I'm stitching generally now. What it is you sew your end in, pull the thread all the way through, and then you do one more extra little stitch at the very end with the needle going in the same direction and pull that taut, and that has secured your thread at the back, and it's hidden the end of it underneath the other stitching, and it's secure and keeps it neat and tidy. So that's the back of my canvas work. So trying to keep it knot free and as tidy as possible so that that surface is flat and you can see my face through it. There we go. So yeah, you know, it was crafting really is a gift. It's a gift. It's funny, I have an uncle, his name is Gerald. No one calls him, we all call him Jerry. So my Uncle Jerry, and you know, you're on Facebook, and he had posted the very first day that, you know, we were encouraged to stay home and only go out if absolutely necessary, self-isolate. And my Uncle Jerry posted on Facebook, he said, well, I've been here for 4 hours and I'm totally bored. And I thought, I still don't have enough time. I still don't have enough time to do everything that I want to do. How are you bored? How are you possibly bored? And I think there are many of you out there who are feeling the same. We know how to fill our time with plenty of things, and most of us have enough stash that we could easily entertain ourselves for a long time ahead. So it is a gift to be able to distract yourself. I made a conscious decision last night to cut down on the amount of news that I am reading and watching, because I was finding that it was becoming, it's a bit of a mental tick with me. You know, you're online anyways, I might as well just check the news. And it was becoming too much. I would read the same things over and over and over again. And so Whoops, my camera battery died, so I just had to quickly replace it there. And frankly, I was almost done. I think we all know that too much news cannot be helpful at times, and that's what I was finding with me. So thank you for checking in with me, and thank you for joining me for just a few minutes every day where we can just talk about things that we love to talk about and just feel like we're all in this together. So I hope you're well. I hope that you're taking care of yourself. I hope that you're able to take care of your families if you're able. If you're alone, I hope that this brings you a little bit of feeling like you have some company to help occupy your time, even though it's only, you know, 10 to 15 minutes long, 20 sometimes. But I wish you all the best, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday, but what the heck, I'm going to be crafting tonight. I will certainly have things to talk about tomorrow. So that's it. I think I'm off to take Luna for a little walk around the neighborhood, get some fresh air, and maybe do a bit of knitting this afternoon. That's it for me. Take care, everybody. Happy stitching, and I'll see you tomorrow.